Good afternoon, Muskies. I'm Umi Savani.
And I'm Jack Vandertol, and this is Xavier News.
From the Xavier University Television Studio, this is Xavier News.
Earlier this week, the last of the Scottsboro boys were officially pardoned in a rape case stemming from 1930. A train traveling from Chattanooga, Tennessee to Memphis illegally carried about a dozen African Americans when two white males reported the passengers attacked them and raped two women. The Alabama Board of Pardons and Paroles voted unanimously during a hearing to issue the pardons to Haywood Patterson, Charles Weems, and Andy Wright. An all-white jury originally convicted the boys in 1930 for criminal misconduct. And this week, the last three boys were granted a posthumous pardon, finally closing the 80-year-old case, which has become one of the most famous cases in the South's racial history.
Now, less than a week ago, a super typhoon has ravaged the Philippines. The massive storm, dubbed Haiyan, packed winds approaching 200 miles per hour and called one of the most powerful storms ever recorded, which blasted into the Philippines on Friday, November 8th. Now, Typhoon Haiyan displaced an estimated 4 million people in the Philippines, more than that of the number of those displaced during Hurricane Katrina and the Indian Ocean tsunami combined, posing an unprecedented challenge to the government and relief agencies. Now, since the storm hit more than a week ago, the Philippines has set up over 1,500 emergency shelters, which are now crowded with more than 82,000 families. Now, in some areas, the government and relief agencies are distributing tarps for the people to live under. Typhoon Haiyan has killed almost over 4,000 people, injured another 18,000, and another 1,600 are currently missing, according to the latest government tally.
For a look at the Musketeers' journey to nationals, here's Allie Martin.
Xavier's D'Artagnan and Blue Blob are iconic not just to the university, but specifically to Xavier basketball. This year, the mascots are going further than ever before and entering into mascot nationals. Kyler Mackey, Xavier's head mascot, tells us more.
So mascot nationals are you send an entrance video down to Florida, Disney World, and they take the top 10 2-minute entry videos, and they basically consist of school spirit, community activities, band involvement, anything like that involves with game to community. And they take the top 10, the top 5 get to go down for free ride, the other 5 have to kind of pay their way. And it's just a good experience to learn from other mascots and just kind of see where you stand with other mascots from collegiate levels. Most of them are football mascots, so it's kind of good to see where you stand as a basketball mascot level.
With all the excitement from switching conferences from the Atlantic 10 to the Big East, now has never been a better time to compete in mascot nationals for Xavier.
I'm entering the competition just because I think for Xavier being a basketball school, I think to have a mascot go down and kind of represent Xavier is good exposure because they only have football schools. So the fact that if a basketball team mascot can compete with the football schools, it kind of just shows how big our basketball program is and how it is really important to Xavier and what we do here.
Kyler's entry video will be submitted by the end of November. His determination to promote Xavier and its basketball program continues to flourish as they enter into the 2013-2014 season. Kyler also gives us a glimpse into his favorite roles as the Xavier mascot.
My favorite part about being a mascot is just kind of being able to be behind the scenes and being in a mask. Obviously, like no one knows it's you, so you can kind of be multiple people, multiple actors almost, I like to say. Just kind of be goofy self and you don't get judged by being you. So you can kind of just be free and do whatever you want and you can't be judged for it. And just try to get laughs out of anybody and everybody.
From Xavier News, this is Allie Martin.
News broke 3 weeks ago about a 12-year-old girl committing suicide off a tower at a cement plant in Florida. The family of Rebecca Ann Sedgwick charged 2 girls as the cause of Sedgwick's death. After looking through the evidence of Facebook chats and messages, the state attorney's office decided to drop the charges this week, telling NBC Today that the girls had done nothing wrong. The 2 girls were taken into custody in early October with little evidence to support the arrest.
Now, in London today, 3 women were rescued from illegal slavery. From reports, they were kept in captivity for about 30 years before police forces were able to rescue them. Apparently, one of the women contacted the authorities who worked to attain their direct location. Now, when the women were rescued, reports say that they were highly traumatized. However, there were no reports of sexual assault.
A Boeing Dreamlifter plane made an unexpected landing on its journey from New York's JFK Airport this week. The flight stopped at Colonel James Gabarra Airport in Wichita, Kansas, before completing his route to McConnell Air Force Base. The pilots were suspicious of malfunction in their landing controls. Once grounded in Kansas and the plane inspected, the pilots were able to navigate the short runway and complete the flight with only an 8-minute delay.
Now, this week in entertainment, the film studio Lionsgate is projecting an opening weekend for Catching Fire, the hype sequel to The Hunger Games, in the 140 to 150 million box office range domestically. Now, this is just under the first film's 152.5 million bout in March of 2012. Those numbers put it on track to easily beat current November debut record holder, The Twilight Saga: New Moon, which ranked in 142.8 million in 2009. The film, starring Jennifer Lawrence and Josh Hutcherson, could claim the second highest opening gross of all time, just edging out Iron Man 3 with 174.1 million and coming in just ahead of The Avengers' 207.4 million. The Hunger Games: Catching Fire premieres in theaters this weekend nationwide to rave reviews, and we'll have to see if the breaking box office records are ever in the film's favor. Well, that's all from the desk this week. We'll be right back with the Drew for another edition of the Xavier Sports Report. Take care.
Welcome to yet another edition of the Xavier Sports Report. I'm Drew Tanner. Xavier men's basketball improved to 4-0 on the year with a 77-51 win over the Miami Redhawks Wednesday. James Farr led the way for the Muskies with a double-double in the team's 100th meeting. D. Davis contributed 15 points in his second game back from injury, and Samaje Christon added 13 points. The Muskies shot 50.8% from the field and out-rebounded the Redhawks 45-42. Miami's 51 points is the lowest total Xavier has allowed this season. Great job, guys. Xavier basketball plays Abilene Christian at the Cintas Center this Monday at 7 p.m. before spending Thanksgiving break at a tournament in the Bahamas. The Brian Neal era started off strong for the women's team with a 77-75 overtime win over Michigan last week. Seniors Shatira Hawks and Ashley Waninger combined for 48 points, with Waninger scoring 2 career highs with 21 points and 4 3-point makes. Sophomore Brianna Glover helped force overtime with 10 points off the bench. The women's team joins the men in the Bahamas over Thanksgiving. They will face Duke on November 28th in an opportunity for another signature win. Good luck, girls. Now to the Diamond, where 7 new Musketeers will join Xavier baseball next season. Of the new recruiting class, head coach Scott Goggins said, quote, "We're excited about this group of young men and feel that they will play a big role in helping us compete for a Big East championship." Among the new recruits are pitcher Garrett Schilling, an accomplished starter from Michigan's Bishop Foley High School and member of 3 state championship teams, and local standout Blaine Griffiths of Lakota West, an outfielder whose offensive prowess earned him GMC Offensive Player of the Year honors last season. We move on to the pool, where the Xavier men's and women's swim teams are about halfway through their seasons. Freshman Nick Strader's sensational start to the year earned him Big East Player of the Week honors. In the Muskies' win over Tiffin last week, Strader won the 1,000 free with a time of 9:54.84 and the 500 free finishing in 4:46.06. The honor is Strader's first weekly award. He and the men's team will travel to the Cleveland Magnus Cup this weekend, where Xavier will participate in the meet for the second straight year. And it's just a big week for Xavier men's basketball. ESPN.com named the team's recruiting class 4th best in the nation last Thursday. Coach Chris Mack said, quote, "This is an awesome day for Xavier basketball," close quote, after receiving letters of intent from 5 top recruits. There are Trevon Blewett, Makinde London, JP Makura, Sean O'Mara, and Edmund Summer. Blewett is an especially interesting recruit, as he shunned UCLA of all schools to be closer to his home in Indianapolis at Xavier. The 6'6" small forward is ranked the 43rd best recruit in the nation by ESPN. Things are truly looking up on the Xavier basketball court. Xavier women's volleyball took down Georgetown last Saturday while honoring 3 seniors, Sarah Brown, Kelsey Dunaway, and Alex Smith. Of the seniors, head coach Mike Johnson pointed out that they are only the 3rd group in Xavier history to win 20 matches every year of their career. XU sent them off by beating the Hoyas, spurred by consecutive blocks from Abby Bessler and Alex Blair when the game was tied 18-all in the 3rd set. Michaela Allen dished out 10 kills, and Aubrey Smith added 37 assists. The team finishes their season on the road this weekend against Marquette tonight, before their final game against DePaul in Chicago the following day. Both games start at 8 p.m. Well, that's it for this edition of the Xavier Sports Report. I'm Drew Tanner, and we're off next week, so on behalf of everyone at the station, have a fun and safe Thanksgiving break, Muskies.